What's weird to me is the way that it seems like everyone conflates Hailey Bieber's success with Rhode being valued at $1 to $1.4 billion. They conflate it to Justin Bieber's success like he gave it to her. And I don't understand that. And you can tell based off of other videos, I am not sitting here putting on a cape for Hailey Bieber, but I will look at a woman who was able to do something that is pretty impressive and say, it is weird that you guys are making this about her husband. So let's talk about that. So people are making Rhode's success about Justin, basically saying that if she wasn't married to Justin, then she would have never gotten to the position where she could have, I guess, raised enough capital to get Rhode and then continue to profit off of his name. But it makes me think of other people like Jordan Woods, Chrissy Teigen, Justine Skye from the same kind of group of friends, Lori Harvey, I was about to say Lori Harrier, but Lori Harvey and other people who are or who were or in those circles or married to famous people, and they made a name for themselves, but they don't have a company also valued at $1.4 billion. Matter of fact, Kim Kardashian's Skim brand just recently, within the last like 3 years or so, was valued at over $1 billion. And now I think she's shopping Skims to Nike, which is really interesting in its own because like Nike's kind of not doing so hot right now. Kim's 40. The reason I mentioned Kim's age is because she's 40 years old and she's had 15 years to be in the public eye. And it's taken her this long to build a $1 billion brand, recognizing that she's also gone through controversial moments in her career as well. Skims originally was supposed to be called Kimono with an emphasis on Kim, and it almost immediately got derailed. Skims almost didn't even happen. There's some really good videos about that. And so seeing the success of Rhode in, again, a short period of time, 3 years versus Skims, which like I think that started back in like 2017, 2018, that whole situation, it takes such a long time, as well as like if you look at the Kardashian star power and the way she's been going about her campaigns and whatnot, even more impressive that Hailey was able to do this so quickly and expand to get a brand to pay out like $1 billion for it, where again Kim is still kind of working on it, I think, as we talk right now. It's not to say that like, oh, because she's old. No, it's because like she's had much more time in the game, influencing and licensing and creative direction, all this stuff. But Hailey, who again was considered to be the least of out of that group, is now the head of, when it comes to finances and stuff right now. Let's keep talking. Kylie was thrown under the bus once everyone found out, kind of rightfully so, but like also it sounded like it was kind of Chris's fault that Kylie's brand, Kylie Lip or Kylie Cosmetics, was valued at $900 million instead of $1 billion. So Hailey making it to $1 billion, and again, possibly 1.4, is a pretty big deal. If you ask me, something that Hailey did really well that I'm seeing the likes of Jasmine Tooks now do is she was able to pivot on part of the market that wasn't really being tapped into at the time, specifically for her demographic, which was skincare. Skincare was still something that was a little bit more towards people about my age, like kind of 27 and older, but she made it kind of like fun and a little bit quirky, and really enmeshed it into the lifestyle of the clean girl aesthetic when that was really popular. And since then has been able to make it fit more than an aesthetic, but like a lifestyle essential or a life need, if that makes any sense, which skincare has been pivoting. Side note, the next big thing we're going to see is hair care, specifically for curly hair, not the loose wavy curly hair, because more and more people have coily like mine or curly hair, but that's for the later date to talk about. So when Hailey Bieber was growing her brand in the very beginning, it was actually very risky because Hailey was not very well liked, as she kind of isn't right now. And so she was going up against litigation for the term Rhode, which is her middle name, but there was another apparel company called Rhode, and they were fighting out to see who could use the name. I think Hailey initially just wanted to use it for beauty and maybe some merchandising, but not necessarily apparel, and they didn't want to let her. Unfortunately, Rhode, the apparel company, is no longer with us. So I think what happened was litigation took a lot longer and they didn't have the money to kind of hold out with also running a fashion company post-COVID. All that stuff kind of combined, I think it was just like a bad time for them. I don't know. I haven't read the article, but you know what? After this, I should read the article. Let's see if I add in a clip here to kind of expand on it. But she was up against them and it had a really bad look, in the same way that Katy Perry trying to fight to get that monastery from the nuns, which ended up killing one of the nuns, which like, did Katy Perry kill a nun? Not with her hands, but kind of through litigation. That's wild. Anyways, this wasn't a good look, and people were kind of like side eyeing her. And then on top of that, bringing up old tweets that were resurfacing, the fact that every 3 to 6 business months we've gotten the Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez, and Justin Bieber of it all. Like, it's exhausting. And that always pops up. So I don't think that she was in a place where she could have easily come in and just been like, we're going to make all this money and everything's going to be super easy and fine and good and dandy. I think that a lot of brands that worked with her really believed in her, but also, I've said it before, I'll say it again. To me, she was a manufactured it girl, not just in the sense of like, oh, you know, the publications are pushing her, but her style it's so easy to replicate her style that it feels almost like a mannequin-esque. Like, you can kind of tell when it's Hailey style versus Molly Dixon working with her. And I feel like the Molly Dixon pieces really speak to her, even if they are still very like simple and chic pieces. Whereas Hailey's style feels very girl next door, and sometimes people play on that to sell out clothing. People are getting paid to wear clothes. And then not just in a modeling sense. Insert Terry Agan's book right here. That's a whole other conversation. I think that people forget how much people didn't like her in the beginning of their marriage and how people continue to not like her. But what Hailey was able to do that not every other brand is able to do is take what is seen as an aesthetic from the very beginning, which she did lean, I'm sure, very much on the clean girl aesthetic, the luxury aesthetic, and the escapism from the from 2020 to 2021, maybe even a little bit in 2022, and then expanded that to really become lifestyle. Like, this is needed. And she made a good quality product that has also been given awards. I think that people are forgetting that Kim Kardashian, who's arguably been in the cultural zeitgeist for like 20 years, 2 decades. They forget that Kim just had Skims valued at $1 billion. It's a huge deal to get valued at $1 billion. Okay, it's huge. She's not even 30 yet. That's what Kylie wanted to do. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about being valued at. Kylie Jenner had Kylie Cosmetics that was allegedly worth $1 billion at one point in time, but then we find out it's more like 900 million. I saw somewhere 850 million. I think people are just pulling legs now because these are imaginary numbers to normal people. Kylie wasn't even valued at that, at arguably her peak, and when she sold it off, and then she got $400 million off of that deal with Cody. So let's just say that, you know, she sells, Hailey Bieber sells at $1 billion, right? If Hailey Bieber sold Rhode Beauty or Rhode Skin at $1 billion and she took home just a quarter of that, it would be $250 million. Her husband's entire catalog was valued at $200 million back in 2022/2023. Record label, I believe. The team behind Justin and Justin himself were paid $200 million for his catalog, which, by the way, does not mean Justin Bieber sees all $200 million of that. That gets dispersed out. Who else got a piece of that? Scooter Braun, which is interesting because right now, Scooter Braun and Justin Bieber are going head to head because back in 2022, Justin was supposed to be on tour, but unfortunately he had to cancel the tour for medical reasons. Or before he had canceled the tour, he took an advance out of $40 million. $40 million. $40 million. Baby, what? And it's like, as I'm talking about this and I'm like working through my thoughts and kind of just like remembering all of this stuff, one of the things is so wild is just like the way that people can continue to hate on her. And in this time when it's like, okay, like Justin Bieber could really be the villain. He could have not paid out his manager the proper portions, or he could have spent all his money on particular things, and that this isn't a good look. Like, Hailey is still being painted to be the bad guy. Like, oh, if he didn't marry Hailey, he wouldn't have done that. When does he become a man, and when does he make his own decisions, specifically about his own career? If Justin wanted to, off the back of the Eras tour, he could have re-released music. And he could have re-released music in ways that he wanted to. You know what? Not even off the back of just Eras, but Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande went back 10 years and re-released an album of some of her favorite hits, I think, if not the entire album. And people loved it. People would have loved to hear him remix, reissue out music so that it's under his name, he gets the money from it, goes back on tour, and has that moment. Justin didn't do that. And you could say, well, Justin didn't do that because Justin isn't healthy enough Is he healthy enough to sing is the question. Then he could put out an album, and then when he has his health in order, he could address the public and say, my health is in order, I can't wait to go back on tour. I can't wait to do a residency. I can't wait to do something for my fans to feel connected to them again. Well, Jordan, he has a baby. How many people do you think have babies in this industry? Okay? He could do it a year from now. He could bring the kid on tour with him, have a Blue Ivy moment. Jack Blue's Blue Ivy, Nepo babies we can't wait to see coming. Let's stop making excuses for him. But like, getting back to Hailey, she built this thing brick by brick. She had to get the investors. She had to get the people invested in it. She had to learn how to work the any content creator will tell you. She had to learn how to work the algorithm to benefit her. She did all of that stuff. And it doesn't matter if I sometimes don't like the girl. I can respect. Nicki Minaj is one of them. Nicki Minaj is someone who has like this long-standing legacy, changed the music industry, changed hip-hop, rap, and the commercialization of it. And forever, I will recognize all of her accolades and the fact that I don't like her husband. She could have married anybody. And she married that man. The criminal against children. Okay? We can recognize that. Let's be honest in the discussions that we're having. Hailey did something that is really incredible. And you know what? As a wife and a mother, Hailey was able to start and run a business whilst being married. And I know for damn sure, because I just got off the phone with a business situation. These people want to make you just someone's little wife so badly and so quickly. Either to get you to spend money immediately, spend money you don't have, or ignore your better judgment because they want to play on the feeling of being inadequate because you're someone's wife. And they think that's all you should be. Clock that shit. Okay? I'm going to finish with this because I've been talking for a really long time, so I can't wait to watch this back and be like, what the fuck was I on? Like on about, not on. What's interesting is that, again, she did all of this. She did all of this in spite of being hated. She did all this in spite of not having to. She did all this knowing full and well she might not be the most successful. This could have been just a branch off of a particular event. She has a lip care brand or lip gloss brand for a year and then it goes away. She did this. I'm going to make the argument for herself, and she proved to everybody why she deserves to be in the room. I don't like the Call Her Daddy podcast. I talked about that. It's linked on my channel. I didn't like it because I thought we should get to know more about Hailey, and I hope after all of this stuff, if she decides that she wants to do interviews, because I completely understand she might not want to, I hope she talks more about her journey building this. I hope she talks more about how this empowered her as a woman, not just to make all this money, but to make these decisions that helped her grow. I hope she recognizes that people, including myself, sometimes doubted her, really asked, is it worth it? And she proved it's worth $1 billion. So what do you mean? Is it worth it? And I'm excited. Honestly, if I got the chance to interview her, and I'll put up 10 interview questions maybe in the next video, but I just want to know how it feels to prove everybody. Let me take a book out of Shador Sanders. She didn't have to prove anything to anybody. She just had to prove it to herself. She just had to do the best she could. So how does it feel to see that your best is better than what everybody expected and continues to be?